Zombie apocalypse. Zombie apocalypse.
Good afternoon, MAIE students who are currently taking Electrical and Electronics Technology course. Once again, this is Sir Kenji Merinciano, your course facilitator. This afternoon, we will cover another interesting topic, which is all about circuits. So before we proceed with this new topic, let us have a recap, or let's recapitulate what was transpired. We haven't actually we haven't met for 2 meetings because of sabi ko nga, napaka-busy namin ngayon because we're anticipating the preparation for this commencement exercises or graduation, and then yung enrollment. That's why Sir Kenji we're not able to conduct sync meeting. And since medyo nabakante ako, I opt to resort to have sync meeting kasi marami tayong topics na i-cover. Marami pa ring topics tayong i-cover, and at the same time concerning also with your project, since time is of the essence, and I think we only have 2 weeks left before this mid-year ends. And I forgot to mention pala, this is in connection to your project na you need to evaluate that after you build it. I'll be providing you a parang survey instrument or questionnaire na ipapa-critic nyo sa yung ginawa ninyong dispenser. Or if not, a testimonial or a video from yung mga selected respondents natin na magbibigay ng kanilang feedback about your project. Okay? So, let me check sa ating classroom. So, all in all, ilan tayo dito? Mga 5 or 6. Kahit isa o dalawa lang, I still managed to conduct sync meeting. Kasi, in a way, recorded naman to eh. Para at least, for those who are not around, maka-catch up ng lessons and maka-cope din sa mga ginagawa natin activities. And sige, I'll send you the material. Okay. Let's open the material. Let me check first kung andito na siya. Sige. Let's proceed with to our share screen sa ating meeting. Window. I think hindi makita ang ating material. Sige. Type to. Wait na short while. Ayusin natin to. Virtual room. Set natin ulit. Class, can you see what's on the screen? Please confirm.
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sige, open up na natin. So our next topic is all about, it's all about circuits. Last time, I provided or sent you a video about another fundamental important charge in electricity and electronics, which is all about power. And if I'm not mistaken, I also give you an exercise for you to determine the value of power based on the given charges and based on the problem. Okay? So, testing natin to. Setting ko lang, madali lang po ano. Okay? So, as I've said a while ago, before I recorded this session or meeting, I asked you to provide me a piece of scratch or any paper na pwedeng sulatan with a marker or a pens or a marker or a ball pen. So, for this activity, I'll be asking you to uh, draw a simple electric circuit. Okay? Again, on your paper po, draw a simple electric circuit and kindly label the parts. Can you follow?
Okay po, sir.
Okay, sige. And kindly label the parts, ha? Please do not resort to surf in the internet or use your search engine like Google or Firefox. Please, based on your understanding, draw a simple electric circuit. And if you're done, I'm going to call you and please show it to me. Okay? If you are done with your drawing po, please, you can unmute your audio and tell me that you're done already with your presentation. Okay, let's return to our virtual classroom. Let's see if you are done with your layout. As I've said, based on my instruction, draw a simple circuit, simple electric circuit, and wherein you're going to label the parts. Class, are you done? Please confirm.
Yes na po, sir.
How about the rest? Okay, I heard two people. How about the others? Are you still drawing your layout or the circuit? Class, again, are you done with your drawing? Hello, please confirm. How about the others?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jane. Mika, I think Mika is done already, and Sir Jonel. How about the rest, Sir Marlon?
Okay
And
na po, sir.
okay, thank you. How about Mamborella?
Okay na din po. Nag-try po.
Sige, sige. Okay. So, can you show to me your drawing? Anyone who would like to present his or her drawing? Hello, guys. Should I call names? Any volunteer? Don't worry, di ko naman siya masasabing pangit o maganda. Kasi yung lines niya, kuan lang eh. Gothic or kuan lang eh. Isang finite line lang siya. Sige po. I think somebody raised Sir Ascutia.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Okay,
So
sige.
I prepared here a simple circuit, electrical circuit. So we have here the battery, the source of power. And of
Okay.
course, we have the wires. We have here the switch that
Mm,
terminates the flow of electricity. And we have here the bulb. And
okay.
this circuit is closed.
Okay, correct. That is well presented. But it's in the form of that is what we call class a pictorial diagram. Okay, it's a pictorial diagram. Sorry, I forgot um I parang there's something wrong with my instruction. Okay. Actually, tama yung presentation naman ni Sir Ascutia. It's I acknowledge your drawing. But it's a clear presentation, and that is what we call a pictorial diagram. Wherein you can easily visualize the object. Let's say the bulb because of its shape, and the switch as well as the battery. But I forgot to ask you to draw a circuit in a form of a schematic. Okay, a schematic diagram. Can you do that, Sir Ascutia? How about the rest? May
Yes
I,
po.
thank you. May I ask, Ma'am Borella, are you nasa are you in your work area po or sa bahay? Ay, Sir Marlon,
Yes, sir.
can you show to us your drawing? Sige.
Sir, nakikita po.
Yes, sige, sige. Ang nakita ko,
Ah,
sige po, tell us.
actually, sir, I have made this schematic diagram wherein in the circuit there is a battery. I of course switch muna and then battery run by wire and then connected with a live bulb. Yung switch ko, sir, is closed pa po. Pag open na and then it will light the bulb.
Okay, good. You already parang alam mo na yung open and yung parang na-recall mo ulit yung topic natin about open and closed circuit. So, pinakita mo dyan, sir, yung symbol na parang X, di ba? X na bilog, parang it represents bulb. Actually, maraming ways on how to represent a bulb using the schematic. Sir, may I see your battery? If you don't mind. Sige. Get closer.
Ito po, sir. May
Okay.
positive and negative po.
Okay. Sige. So, tama yung tatlo mong illustration. However, sa part ng battery, parang hindi po siya correct symbol niya. You got the four essential parts or components of what makes a simple circuit. Pero may konting problem tayo sa battery. Later on, ipapakita ko sa inyo. Pero, may I see the other works? Ma'am Borella, can you still hear me? Thank you, Sir Marlon.
Welcome.
Nakikita ba? Nakikita po ba, sir?
Medyo
Try lang po
blurry.
ito.
Sige,
Hindi
sige.
ko na masyadong maalala yung ano.
Sige. At tingin ng light bulb, ilapit-lapit ng konti. Sige. Tama ba? May parang X siya na symbol or illustration? Okay.
I'm not sure, sir, kung pagkakalala ko, sir, pwede din siya po yung parang zigzag. Tama po ba? Yung
Ay,
zigzag po.
zigzag. Yes, pwede din. Pero hindi po ganun pagka-zigzag niya eh. I have concern sa symbol mo ng battery. Same with Sir Marlon. Parang hindi po appropriate yung term na yung ginamit mo. Tama yung symbol, pero that's not a battery. And yung switch mo parang may kulang ng isa. Pero okay, all in all, apo. Tama
Parang
yung
ano po, sir? Dot.
apo.
Dito po sa this one.
Sige. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your drawing. How about Ma'am Jane? Ma'am Jane, can I see your drawing? Is it okay with you? Hindi ko naman siya ma-judge na pangit or maganda eh. Apo. Ma'am, ang problema po, if you're using your background, hindi ko makikita yung, kapag naka-background ka ba sa inyong, hindi ko makikita yung drawing, makakover po siya. Can you, okay, try mo kayo ipakita sa akin while naka-background, baka makita ko. Kasi may instances kasi, if using a background, ay, cover po siya, ma'am. Okay. So at least class nakukuha niyo yung point na the important components or parts of a circuit are battery. Nakakuha ma'am eh. Or if not ma'am, try to take a picture, send mo sa amin. Sige.
Send ko na lang po, sir, sa messages.
Okay, thank you. Sige, may I ask the rest? Sino pong pwede dyan? Nandito. Mamika, yeah. Mamika, are you done with your drawing? Or
Yes,
diagram?
sir, pero same lang, sir, yung kay Sir Janelle, yung sa pictorial diagram.
Sige. Okay. Let's wait for... Sino pa yung andito? Na pwede natin...
Miss Volante, sir.
Sige. Ma'am Jean, are you there? Paggalawin po yung baso.
Yes po. Sir, okay.
Okay.
Okay lang po, sir, sa GC na lang.
Okay po, ma'am. No problem.
Okay po.
Okay. Sige. Let's wait for
Send na
ma'am.
po, sir.
Sige, let's see if check ko lang ha yung illustration mo. O ano ba yung sige.
Save lang po, sir, kay Sir Marlon and kay Ma'am Jonah.
Okay. So nagka-problema tayo sa symbol ng battery and switch. So let's go back sa thank you ma'am for sharing. Let's go back to our presentation. Okay. Kasi as an electrical and electronic students, dapat you have to be familiarized with the diagram. Diba? I know based on the project that you're working on, mayroong na-assign dyan or na-assign as circuit designer or yung sa layout pala. Siya ang in charge sa layout and mga drawings. Okay. So, let me show you kung ano pa yung correct symbol na dapat nyong pag-aralan dito sa... By the way, this is what we call schematic diagram. Okay. It's very important sa field ng electricity and electronics to be oriented, to be aware, and to be familiar with this symbol. Okay. So, tama yung nakita ko. Common nakikita ko sa inyo. Ito yung bilog na to, di ba? This is what we call the bulb. Okay. In electronics and electricity, in physics, that is considered as a load. Okay. By the way, since I mentioned a schematic diagram, it's a type of diagram that represents the components in abstract or graphic symbols. It has a standard symbols. Kumbaga, this is the language of electricity and electronics. Either you are a technologist, an engineer, dapat alam mo itong mga standard graphic or abstract symbols sa diagram. Because in troubleshooting, in repair, in circuit analysis, in working in an electrical and electronics project, he or she should be familiarized, acquainted, or well-versed sa mga ganitong symbols. Don't you know that in this field, there are thousands or numerous symbols used in electricity and electronics. So, as I've said, ito yung common symbol ng bulb or lamp. Okay? Pwedeng ganito, pwede naman na ganito. But Ma'am Borella kanina mentioned na there is another way of presenting the bulb. So, I'll share again sa ating classroom kung anong mini-mini ko. Teka, i-completein muna natin yung parts. So, the next one class, by the way, nakikita po ba yung illustration?
Yes.
Yes po.
Thank you. So, ito naman yung conductor or wire. Ito yung pathway of electrons or electricity. Okay? And this one, class, yung sa top, is what we call the source or the source of electrical energy either in a cell or battery. Kung titingnan nyo, this is not a battery symbol class. It is a cell. Okay? And somebody got it right. However, she forgot to place the polarity, the positive and negative. Okay? Pag mahaba yung linya niya, that is a positive terminal. Ito, and the other one naman na maikli, this is the negative. Ito class yung symbol ng battery. Okay? So battery is a device that produces electrical energy or electricity in a form of a chemical reaction. Okay? In other terms for that or definition is a battery is a device that is composed of two or more cells. Kaya titingnan nyo siya parang comprise siya ng dalawa o mahigit pang cells. Ganyan ang representation ng battery. Kaya minsan nagkakaroon ng kalituhan. Ano ba yung battery? Ano ba yung cell? Kasi, halimbawa, may ginagawa ka ng project, ang kailangan mo pala cell, hindi battery. Kasi yung battery na ginamit mo has higher voltage compared to a cell. Or hindi fitted yung connector niya or mali yung connector niya para dun sa gagamitin mong source. Okay. And the other one naman is what we call the control niya. So, on and off, di ba? Pag off ito, that is what we call a closed circuit. And pag open siya, definitely, it's an open circuit. So, ito yung nagko-control ng flow of electrons. Okay? Sa electronics, mahalagang malaman natin or pag-aralan yung iba-ibang mga symbols. Kaya ulitin ko, you can study, read in advance the different electronics and electrical symbols used. So, I'll try to share. I'll be using another camera para ipakita ko sa inyo yung iba-ibang symbols sa electricity and electronics. So, let's proceed to the classroom again and open. Share ulit tayo. Window. Saan nga yun? Ba't wala? Okay. Try to open ko again and hope I could share yung isang camera. A window. Yeah. Ito ba? Wala. Ay, ito. Nakikita po ba, class? Yung parang may bond paper.
Opo, sir.
Okay, so yan po yung camera 2 natin. Ipakita ko sa inyo yung mga different schematic symbols. Okay? Teka lang, let's proceed to the demo scene. Yeah, nakikita na. Malinaw na. Ito yung kamay ko, nakikita naman po ba? So, ito yung mga basic electronic symbols na ginagamit. Okay? Dali lang. Kasi natin. Ito yung pinaka-common, yung fundamental component sa electronics or even sa electricity is what we call a resistor. Okay? Ito yung basic symbol niya. Nakikita po ba?
Yes po, sir.
Ito yung kaninang sinasabi ni Ma'am Borella na zigzag. Pero, yung component na po yan po tinatawag nating resistor. Okay? Resistor. Resistor is the fundamental component in electricity and electronics. Yan yung basic. Okay. And ang resistor class is a passive component. Later on, based sa aking presentation, I will show you the distinction or the difference between a passive from an active component. Pag sinabing natin resistor, di ba, from the word resistance or resist, wherein it limits, it blocks, or hinders the flow of current. Resistor is a component that restricts or opposes the flow of current. Ito yung common na symbol, but ito pa yung isa pang representation ng resistor. Okay, ito po siya. So you can use, kapag gumawa kayo ng, pag may pinapagawa sa inyong diagram, and halimbawa, gagawa kayo ng power supply. So meron diyang resistor. Ito yung representation niya. Pwedeng etong luma or etong bago. Okay? Yung kaninang tinatanong ni ma'am, di ba ang bulb kayo na it's either in a form of an X or parang may curve? Ang bulb, pwede siyang i-represent na ganito. Okay? Ito yung other symbol for bulb. Okay? Ang resistor po may iba-ibang klase. Halimbawa, if somebody asks you to draw a schematic symbol of an adjustable resistor, ito po ang presentation niya. Ito po yung adjustable resistor. Nakikita po ba, class? Hello? Can you still follow?
Yes, sir.
Ito yung symbol ng adjustable resistor. Okay. Kasi ang resistor po kasi, hindi lang po siya isa lang. There are different types of resistors. We have adjustable. Ito ang tawag dito, axial. Kasi may both terminal siya or both wires at ends. Okay? Ito naman, class, adjustable resistor. And meron tayong tinatawag na trimmer. Okay? Trimmer resistor. Ito naman po yung trimmer. Okay? Look at the comparison or the difference. Pag sinabing adjustable, even sa mga capacitor, resistor, ano pa? Capacitor, ganyan din yung symbol na pinapakita. So, pag sinabi nating adjustable, look at the arrow sa top niya or sa incline. Yan ang distinction. Ito naman is a trimmer resistor. So, yan ang iba-ibang klase ng component. Another component pa na since I'm introducing now sa inyo is yung mga basic components. Kasi hindi natin matatakal lahat. So, I'm just providing you the basic components. Minsan, magkakaroon ng kalituhan pagdating sa battery and capacitor. Look at this one. Diba, alam natin yung battery is like this. Diba? Okay. May mahaba and maikli. Positive, mahaba, maikli, negative. But don't you know, yung capacitor parang ganyan din. That's the symbol for capacitor. Teka, tama ba? Ito yung symbol ng capacitor. Okay. Halos pareha siya. Pero ang pinagkaiba niya is yung haba. Kasi yung capacitor class, pare-parehas po yung kanya, yung height. Okay, this is a symbol for capacitor. Ang capacitor class, meron siyang meron siya tinatawag nating polarity. Pag sinabi nating polarity, pag sinabi nating, we're talking about polarized and non-polarized. Pag sinabi nating class polarized, meron siyang positive and negative. Okay? Pag non-polarized, definitely wala siya. So, ito, since wala siyang positive and negative, this type of capacitor is what we call non-polarized. Okay? Kasi wala siyang positive and negative. Okay, let's use the other part of the bond paper. To represent a polarized capacitor, Kasi an example nito is yung mga cylindrical shape na capacitor na maliliit ang itsura niya. So since we're talking about schematic symbols, ang symbol ng electrolytic capacitor, dalawa din yan. It's either ganito or ganito. Tapos nakikita po ba? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Apo. Itong isa po, this is what we call a polarized capacitor. Ang pinagkaiba niya is yung isang horizontal niya is thick. Yung thick part niya, class, yung thick part niya, ito yung positive and the other one is negative. Or ito po siya, ito yung positive, ito po yung negative. So this is what we call polarized capacitor or polarized caps. Ito yung shortcut niya. Kung ang resistor class is a component that restricts or opposes the flow of current, ang capacitor naman class is a device or component that stores electrical energy or the storage of charge. Other term for capacitor is condenser or caps. Yan po ang meaning niya. Okay? So, yan po ang schematic symbol ng capacitor. Kagaya din ng sinabi ko, ang capacitor meron siyang, what do you call this? Adjustable and variable. Okay. Pag sinabi nating adjustable, meron siyang parang arrow heading upwards. Yung trimmer naman is parang iba yung shape ng on end niya. This is what we call adjustable and the other one is trimmer capacitor. Okay. So now class, I'm sharing you yung iba-ibang symbols na ginagamit. Dapat you should be familiarized kasi part of our activity is magkakaroon tayo ng recitation about the different diagrams or schematic symbols. Ito pa, another interesting component is the diode. Ito ang symbol ng diode. Okay. Diode naman can be a passive or an active component. Okay. Ito yung symbol ng diode. Okay. Yan po ang symbol ng diode class. Diode is a component that the flow of current is in only one direction. Okay. Ang diode class is polarized. Right? Unlike sa capacitor, meron siyang polarized and non-polarized. Itong pag may positive and negative, that is polarized capacitor. Okay. Ang diode kasi meron siyang positive and negative. We have ang tawag pala sa positive terminal and negative terminal ng diode is anode and cathode. Okay? Ito po, if you will observe the shape and the illustration, yung diode is parang may arrow. Diba? Parang may arrow. Meaning to say, ito yung flow niya, forward. Okay? Kasi you will also encounter the term forward bias and reverse bias. Pero I'll just give you the gist lang muna, yung basics. Okay? Ang diode po, meron siyang tinatawag na negative and positive, which we call anode and cathode. Okay? Ito yung anode, yung bar, this is the positive, yung negative naman, that is what we call cathode. Hope you can see what my illustration po ano. So again, if this arrow represents the direction or the flow of current through a symbol of the diode. Ang negative niya po is the cathode. Positive, pag may bar, that is the anode or the positive terminal of the diode. Okay. Another interesting component or symbol is the transistor. The bipolar junction transistor. Ito po yung symbol niya. May dalawang klase tayo, class. Okay? Ito yung una. Wait lang. Teka lang ha. Sige. Ito naman yung okay. This is the symbol for transistor. Okay? Ang transistor class may dalawang klase. Okay? We have the nakikita po yung isa. Teka lang. Okay. Nakikita po ba? Class? Please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ito yung transistor is an active component that has three parts. Ang passive components class, if you will observe, may dalawang terminal lang. May positive, negative. Yung iba po, walang problema kung saan terminal kasi non-polarized sila. Sa active components kagaya ng transistor, usually may tatlong terminal yan. And this is what we call the base, collector, and emitter. Okay? If you will observe, may dalawang klaseng bipolar junction transistor. Nagkakaiba siya sa arrow. Okay? This part, ito, tama ba? Itong arrow pointing the bar, this is what we call PNP type of transistor. Hindi Philippine National Police ha. PNP stands for positive, negative, positive. Okay? Samantalang sa baba, if you will observe, yung arrow palabas na. And that is what we call NPN type or negative, positive, negative. So, transistor is one of the well-known active component that is used for switching and amplification. So, yun ang mga symbol ng transistor. Okay? May mga component naman, I think you are familiar with this one. Try to guess, anong symbol kaya to? Parang paan ng manok o kaya dahon. Do you have any idea? Have you seen this?
Antenna, sir.
Correct. Tama. Antenna. Diba? How about this one? I think na-encounter nyo na din to eh. Pero may kwan siya, baka magkaroon kayo ng kalituan. Meron siyang linya dyan. What do you call that part? Have you encountered that?
Ground po, sir.
Okay, good. That is ground. Okay. So, yan ang mga interesting pag-aralan sa electricity and electronics. Dapat alam nyo yung mga schematic symbols. Another. Baka mahulaan ito ninyo. Malili siyang malaman kasi may symbol na, may letter na eh. What do you call this component or symbol?
Motor, sir.
Yes po?
Motor.
Tama. That is a motor. So yan. Yan ang mga symbol na ginagamit natin sa electronics and electricity. Okay. So, class, yan po ang different schematic symbols. But please read, study, and advance kasi marami pa po kayo may encounter ng mga symbols sa electricity or sa electronic. Okay. So let's proceed with the topic. Stop share ko muna siya. So balik tayo ulit. Okay. In a short while. Window. So let's proceed to, let us define what is an electric circuit. Okay. When we say electric circuit, class, wait, it is a path, diba? A path or the direction or in transmitting the electric current. That's the basic definition of electric. Or in other words, it's a closed loop. Diba? Pag loop, it means parang paulit-ulit na flow. Diba? Or instruction. So it's a closed loop or path which forms a network of electrical components. Wherein it's a loop or path wherein the components dadaan or magpo-flow. Where electrons are able to flow. That's what I've said. The point where the electrons start flowing is what we call the source. Okay? Like, for example, the battery. Kapag
So
doon...
excuse po,
Yes po, sir.
wala pong nakalagay sa ano.
Sa
Hindi po
screen.
siya nag-view, sir, sa screen.
Sige. Stop share ko ulit. Okay. Thank you for the observation. Stop sharing. Window. How about, sir, this time?
Okay na, sir.
Sige. Okay, ulitin ko siya para makita. Now, sir, nakikita pa rin ba? Sir? Sir Marlon? How about the rest?
Okay na po, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay naman.
Sige. So, kapag ang electrons start flowing from a point, ang tawag dyan source. Pero pagbalik niya to where electrons leave the electrical circuit, that is what we call the return. So, yan ang basic definition ng electric circuit. Okay. Now, di ba, ito mas clear. Yeah, mas clear, mas madaling ma-visualize yung symbol ng mga components ay ng mga parts, and then yung mga yung mga parts ng circuit. So we have the battery, the bulb, the switch. Okay? But class, what will happen if I add a wire between the battery bago siya pumunta sa load? What do you think will happen? Halimbawa, lagyan ko ng wire. What do you think will happen if nilagyan ko siya ng jumper or ng wire sa magkabila? What do you think will happen? Do you have a guess or there's something in mind? Class? Can you still follow? Hello? What do you think will happen if nilagyan ko siya ng wire in between the terminal of battery, yung positive and negative, bago siya dumaloy patungong bulb? Do you have any idea? Hello? Are you still with me, class? Nawala ba yung net?
Yes, sir.
Sige po. Who wants to share? Or who wants to give, who wants to guess? I mean.
Mag-short circuit po.
Okay, correct. So, ang mangyayari po niyan, is this Ma'am Glaze? Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry po, I'm late.
Okay lang. At least nakahabol ka. According to Ma'am Glaze, what do you call this? Nakikita pa rin po ba yung presentation ko?
Yes po.
Okay,
Opo.
thank you. So, ang mangyayari dyan is yung flow of electrons mahihinto papunta sa bulb. Kasi nagkaroon tayo ng panibagong path. Diba? Panibagong path or direction. Okay. So, dyan na po mangyayari yung flow. And if you will observe, magkakaroon siya ng short circuit kasi mag-off yung bulb. Kasi, iba na po yung direction ng flow. Which is, ang tendency, mag-overheat po yung battery ninyo. And masisira po yan because nilagay nyo siya ng short circuit. Ito yung mga nagiging reason kung bakit meron tayong sunog sa bahay. May tinatawag na short circuit due to moist. Kasi na-scrape or naalisan yung insulator, ay yung wire ng insulator, or nalagyan ng tubig. So, it can cause accidents, kagaya ng fire. So, yan sinasabi nating short circuit. Or mali yung pagka-connect ng electrician. Okay. Imbis na yung load, imbis na yung flow ng current papunta sa valve, na iba niya yung direction, pabalik ulit sa source. So, mangyayari, masisira. Okay, yung valve, or masisira yung source. So, yan tinatawag nating short circuit. So, ang daming circuit, open circuit, closed. But now we have another term, which is the short circuit. So, alam ko, lagi nyo tong naririnig sa electricity, sa electronics, way back when you're elementary, about AC and DC. Diba? AC stands for alternating current, and the other one is DC, which is the direct current. Okay? Then you look at the illustration. May dalawa tayong sets of circuit. What do you observe? Anybody? Class? Ano pong na-observe natin? Base sa illustration. Ano pong nakikita ninyo? Sir Marlon? What do you observe po?
Dito po sir sa battery, continuous po yung flow ng current.
Mm-hmm.
And then dito po sa isa sir, medyo pabalik-balik lang po yung flow po sir.
Okay, pabalik-balik lang yung flow. Tama. Yung isa, continuous lang yung direction. Tama yung observation ni Sir Abila, na yung flow is in only one direction. Diba? If you can still remember yung flow of current, right? Kapag ang flow nating class nag-uumpisa sa positive and negative, anong tawag nga dyan? Can you still remember? Aba, memory gap agad?
Playing from Kingi Merencia.
Class, can you still remember? Ano bang tawag dito? Kapag ang flow ng current from positive to negative, anong tawag natin dyan? That is what we call what? Anybody would like to answer? Hello? Are you still there? May na ba yung signal natin? Sir Marlon, again? Can you still remember?
Medyo nakalimutan po sir.
Okay, yes? What is it? Yes, ma'am.
Conventional current, sir.
Good. That is conventional current. Tama si ma'am. Tama si ma'am Jane. Okay? Thank you, ma'am Jane. And the other one naman po, from negative to positive, that is electron current flow. Okay? So, the next drawing or illustration naman, nagre-represent ng flow of current back and forth, di ba? From right to left, or minsan balik siya. Diba? That's the flow of current niya. So, tingnan nyo dito, class, alin dito ang AC, alin dito yung DC? Let's say, ito yung, I think, magigess yun na. Itong part na to, what do you call, alin dito kaya yung AC and DC? Yung one direction or back and forth? Yes?
Try ko po, sir. Yung may battery po, yun po yung DC, and then yung isa po is yung AC.
Okay.
Yung pabalik-balik po. Yun po.
Thank you, ma'am. You got it right. Okay, that is AC and DC. DC and AC. So, sabi ni Ma'am Glaze, kapag meron battery, that is a representation of a direct current. So, the flow is in only one direction. Samantalang AC, ito pala yung symbol, di ba? Ng AC, or 220 volts the source. So, ang AC, if you will observe, ang flow niya, it goes back and forth. Diba? Upward, downward, something like that. So, let's get to know more muna yung AC bago tayo mag-proceed sa DC. Okay. So, in a water analogy, we can describe or present how electricity flows. So, if you can still remember, ito yung force or the ability or the capacity to do work, right? That's distribution of power. But it's ito yung force na nagiging cause kung bakit yung flow of direction is back and forth. Okay? So yan ang alternate way of describing the flow of alternating current. Okay. So ano ba yung alternating current, class, or AC? So alternating current, class, or AC is an electrical current. Okay? So, again, alternating current is alternating current is an electric current which periodically reverses direction and changes its magnitude continuously with time, in contrast to direct current which flows only in one direction. Kumbaga, itong alternating current, class, ito yung source type of current na ginagamit natin sa mga bahay, to power household equipment, mga offices, and buildings. Diba? And even to your household or residential. Yan po ang karaniwan nating ginagamit. The alternating current. It can be identified in a form of a wave. In other words, it can be referred to as a curved line. Okay. Diba, we already know or define the meaning of electricity. Okay. But class, I have a question. Can we see electricity? Do you think makikita ba natin ang electricity? Yes or no? Anyone? Can we see electricity, class? Hello, people.
I think, sir, for me, yes.
Yes po.
Yes. Yes po ata.
Bakit? If makikita natin, how?
For example po, lightning, ganun po. Parang ganun.
Okay, pwede. Pero, di ba, in a short span of time, parang glimpse lang natin makikita.
Apo.
Okay, you have a point. What else? Or who else? Nasa an idea? What's an idea? Yes? You recognize? What is it po?
No po.
Yes po.
No sir, pero
Yes, ma'am, Jean?
mararamdaman natin sir yung kuryente.
Naramdaman. Okay. So, hindi nakikita pero nararamdaman. Sige. Who else? How about Ma'am Jane? Can we see electricity?
Same po ng sir, idea ni Ma'am Jean. Wala.
Okay, sige. So, based on the definition baga, an alternating current can be identified in a waveform. May tinatawag tayong sine wave or sinusoidal wave. Kumbaga itong sinusoidal wave, it can be referred to as a curved line. Naalala nyo ba yung naikwento ko dati about yung mga pasyente tapos may nilalagay na aparato? Tapos may makikita kayong parang may mga sa screen nila parang may mga linya or symbols. Okay, ipakita ko yung next slide para mag-guess yung ibig kong sabihin. Actually, we can see electricity or the flow of electricity by means of this electronic test instrument. Na ang tawag po dyan is oscilloscope. Okay. Diba nasabi ko yan sa inyo last meeting? Kung itong instrument na to. This is what we call oscilloscope. Okay. Ang oscilloscope or kumbaga sa shortcut niya is or a scope, it's a type of electronic test instrument that graphically displays varying electrical voltage. Here you can see sa display yung iba't ibang electrical voltage. So makikita natin yung flow of electricity. As a two-dimensional plot, makikita nyo yung electricity in a form of a 2D. or two-dimensional. One or more signals as a function of time. So yan ang meaning or gamit ng oscilloscope. So ang main purpose niya are to display repetitive or single waveforms on the screen that would otherwise occur too briefly to be perceived by the human eye. In other words, class, sa oscilloscope, you can visualize the different waveforms. And upon analyzing the waveform, you can determine or test if may problema yung appliances mo, electronic devices, or product. Okay? So yan ang, okay, tingnan natin yung kung ano bang mini-mini Sir Kenji ng flow of AC using an oscilloscope. Ito po yan. Okay? Dahil lang class ano? Okay, somebody's calling. Madali lang po. Okay? So if you will observe, am I still audible? Just confirm.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, kung nakikita niyo yung illustration po, yung sa presentation natin, hindi naman po nawala yung internet or okay. If you will observe, ganyan po yung flow of current. Diba? Ito yung parang curve or wave. Yan po ang tinatawag nating class na sinusoidal or sine wave. Yes, ma'am? Ma'am?
Wala po sir, na press lang.
Sige. So, going back, ito yung flow of alternating current. Okay? It's in a form of a curve. And that is what we call a sinusoidal or sine wave. Okay? Let's get to know more. Sabi ko pa sa inyo, in a human eye, diba, pwede natin makita siguro, kagaya ng sinabi ni Ma'am Grace, but in a form of lightning. Okay? Kung ano ba yung flow of electricity. But if you're going to analyze, you're going to dig deeper, alamin niyo yung mga parts and ng flow of signals, you can visualize it using an oscilloscope. So here, I'm going to show you the flow of alternating current and its parts. Okay? Kanina, pinakita ko sa inyo yung sine wave or sinusoidal wave. Okay? So, ano ba yung basic parts ng signals or frequency? Okay? Ito yung tsura ng frequency. Pero iba-iba siyang klase. May square tooth, may square wave, sawtooth, or irregular waves. But ang AC is expressed or represented in a sinusoidal or sine wave. So, if you will notice, meron mga numbers or figures. Diba? 0. Pag 0 papunta sa taas, that is a 220. Positive. Ito yung positive. And sa baba naman, that is negative. So, itong mga numbers na to, in a vertical line, this is what we call voltage. Okay. Samantala, kaya baga, ang definition ng oscilloscope, it represents the signals or in a form of a wave in a two-dimensional. Kasi meron siyang vertical, ito yung tinasabi nating voltage, and the other one naman, itong horizontal class, this is what we call time. Okay? So, dito, aside from voltage and time, meron kayong makikitang waves. And kada waves po yan, may mga parts. Kagaya ng top and bottom ng wave. Diba? Yung peak niya, peak above and peak below, iba po ang tawag dyan. So, we have this so-called crest. Okay, ito yung upper peak, which represent the above displacement of a voltage or a frequency. Kapag nasa taas po, ang tawag dyan crest. Pero pag sa baba naman, that is what we call true. Ito yung lower voltage or lower displacement ng electricity or flow. So, pag sa upper peak, this is what we call crest. Sa baba naman class, true. Okay? Next is, kapag it represents yung kalahati ng waveform or it's a displacement half of the actual frequency, itong portion na to, okay, itong tip from here sa gitna papunta sa taas, that is what we call amplitude. Okay? Yung flow ng AC is the upward and downward amplitude of a signal. Sir, paano nyo masasabi na there is a complete frequency or wave? Kapag meron back and forth na taas baba, that is an alternating current or AC. Kaya baga, ang definition ng AC is the flow of current that goes back and forth, up and down. And ang unit of frequency natin can be measured in hertz. Okay? I think if you're going to recall the etymology, the origin of this term, galing siya sa isang scientist. Okay? I forgot if si Wilhelm Röntgen Hertz ata or yan ang origin ng word na hertz. And hertz po is the unit of frequency. Ito pong galing sa baba papunta sa taas, that is a complete cycle of an AC. Kaya ba lang meaning ng AC, ulitin natin, the flow of current goes back and forth direction, up and below. Okay. And para ma-measure natin ng hertz, ang 220 AC source po, meron tayong 220 is equals to 60 Hz or 60 cycle per second. Okay. Pag sinabi natin frequency, itong pula hanggang sa dulo niya, that is a frequency. The flow of current in a certain the flow of current in a certain period or time, or the number of cycles. Yeah, to be exact, ito yung definition niya, is the number of cycles in a given period or time. So, ito mga sinasabi kong parts na to, class. Makikita po niyo siya sa next slide, yung definition niya. And don't also forget the wavelength, yung distance between the amplitude of a signal. So, factor din siya sa pag-a-analyze and pagto-troubleshoot ng mga appliances. Kasi kapag maiba yung flow ng ng frequency, it means to say that there is a fluctuating or a problem with the signal or your device. E ginagamit siya po for troubleshooting and repair. So ito po frequency is the number of waves that pass a fixed point in unit time. So that's the meaning of frequency. Hertz is the unit of frequency. 1 hertz is equivalent to 1 cycle per second. Period or time is the time for a particle on a medium to make one complete vibrational cycle. Rest, point on a wave, is the maximum value of upward displacement within a cycle. Ito yung counterpart ng crest is the true, the minimum or lowest point in a cycle. We also have amplitude. This is the maximum displacement or distance moved by a point on a vibrating body or wave measured from its equilibrium position. Ito yung sinasabi nating 1/2 kanina. 1/2 the length of the vibration path. Ang wavelength naman is the distance between identical points or the spatial period of a periodic wave or the distance over which the wave's shape repeats. Ang sine wave is a geometric waveform that oscillates, meaning to say, moves up and down or side to side periodically. In simplest term, it is an S shape or a smooth wave that oscillates above and below zero. So yan ang meaning ng mga parts ng frequency or kung ano makikita natin sa oscilloscope using the what do you call this? The screen. Okay. Now, we already know kung ano ang meaning ng alternating current. So, this time, let's get to know more about the DC. Okay. The DC or direct current is also an electric current that is unidirectional, meaning to say, one direction. So the flow of charge is always in the same direction. It is the constant flow of electrons from an area of high electrons density to an area of low electricity density. That's why baga, if you will notice, yung presentation ng battery ay ng DC, a good example niya is these are batteries or fuel cells. So from the definition, it is produced by batteries, fuel cells, rectifiers, and generators with commutators. So that's the meaning of the direct current. So kung titingnan natin sa oscilloscope kung ano ba yung kung ano ang direct current, ito po siya. It is in a form of a straight line. Kaya baga yung flow of current is from point A and point B or in one direction or unidirectional. Ganyan po makikita ninyo sa battery, sa mga fuels, ang flow ng DC. Samantalang sa alternating current, diba, it's iba yung geometric shape na lumalabas. Pero it's more of a sinusoidal, it's more of a sine wave or an S shape. And the flow of current goes upward, downward, side to side, or back and forth direction. So, ganyan po makikita natin yung flow of DC. So, kanina, pinakita ko na sa inyo kung ano ba yung definition ng electric circuit, ano ba yung mga parts, and its schematic symbol. Now, this time, we will tackle another type of circuit, which is the electronics circuit. By the way, class, am I still audible? Can you still follow? Before we proceed to the next slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, ito po yung sinasabi nating electronic circuit. Okay. Based on the illustration or based from the picture, it is composed of different electronic components. Kagaya ng resistors, transistors, capacitors, inductors, and diodes. Connected by conductive wires or traces. Kung makikita nyo, meron siyang mga linya. These are what we call traces or direction through which electric current can flow or pass through. So, other words, it is a structure to direct and control electric currents and perform some useful function. Halimbawa, an adapter, based on my example last time, is controlled by an electronic circuit because inside the adapter, meron siyang PCB or what we call printed circuit board, wherein there are individual electronic components mounted or installed. Okay, so that is a good example of an electronic circuit. And since we're talking about the function, 'di ba, ang gamit ng adapter, 'di ba, is for charging purposes ng ating mga mobile phones or low voltage devices. Okay? So, here's the picture of what I am saying of what is a PCB or the printed circuit board. Actually, ang printed circuit board, if we're going to discuss yung basic parts, actually marami siyang parts sa totoo lang. But I'll just give you the gist or the important parts. Kumbaga, yung PCB class, may dalawang side yan. Okay? Itong pinakikita ko sa inyo, this is what we call copper side or track side. Kung titingnan nyo, meron kayong makikita mga traces or linya. Okay? This is where the components are mounted or ito yung view niya. Diba? Kung saan nilalagay yung mga components and kung saan sila nakakonect. And this yellow na mga traces, these are what we call copper tracks. So, paano ba nabubuo yung copper track? Or paano na-release or naipapakita yung copper tracks? If you can still remember, sa paggawa ng project, diba, gumagamit tayo ng PCB. Ito yung canvas natin. Dito tayo nag-install, nag-mount ng components. Dito tayo gumagawa ng circuitry. Bago natin ilagay yung mga components, gagawa muna tayo ng PCB layout. And this is a PCB layout class. Makikita nyo yung mga traces. Once you trace the layout, you have to cover that first. So, ang ginagawa dito class, kino-cover muna siya ng masking tape. Yung part na to. Once na-cover na siya ng masking tape, dyan kayo magdo-drawing. Kumbaga, dyan yung magiging canvas ninyo. Dyan kayo gagawa ng layout or traces. Once you're done with the traces, yung mga excess na sa masking tape, tinatanggal po yun. Okay? Once natanggal na yung excess, ito po yung, you will now, the PCB is now subject for etching process. Ano ba yung etching process? If you can still remember, ang PCB po is binababad natin sa isang perchloride. Diba? It's a chemical solution. Wherein, once you're done with the layout, you have to place the PCB in a container na merong perchloride, yung chemical. And then for about 20 or 30 minutes, depende sa temperature or sa at weather condition natin. Mas maganda, pag mainit, mas madali maluto or mailabas yung copper tracks. Kasi after na mababad nyo siya sa perchloride, tatanggalin nyo naman yung excess ng masking tape and makikita nyo na meron na siyang copper traces. So, dyan po nabubuo yung copper tracks by means of a PCB etching solution. Ang iba naman po, ginagamitan ng computers or ng computers, syempre, yun yung doon gagawa ng program and then yung mga machines na kagaya ng CNC na sila yung parang nagtitrace, nag-remove ng copper. Ay pinapalabas yung copper. So, since we are familiar with the copper track side, ito naman po class yung component side. Diba? So, I repeat, yung printed circuit board has two phases. Yung nasa ilalim, usually, this is what we call track side. And yung mga components po na naka-install or mount, ito yung component side. Diyan po natin makikita yung mga components. Okay? Let's take another closer look. If you will observe or notice, ito yung ating copper track side. Okay, makikita nyo yung mga traces, diba, or lines. And then, may mga holes or butas. Kasi dito po, ikakabit natin yung mga components or imamount natin. Kagaya ng resistor and other components. So yan po ang ating tinatawag na printed circuit board or the PCB. So, let's have another activity. Based on the picture, kindly guess po yung mga components. This we're talking about, we're done with the circuit. Now, let's be familiarized. Kanina pinakita ko sa inyo iba-ibang schematic symbols. Now, ito yung makikita na tawag dito. Makikita nyo sa mga PCB, sa mga projects na mga ginagawa ng estudyante. These are the well-known or common components used in electronics and even in electricity. So, anyone from this group would like to guess kung ano po ba itong mga components na to? Class, are you still with me? You can unmute your audio. Itong unang picture po, anong component to?
Resistor.
Resistor.
Resistor po, sir.
Apo, sige. Correct. Resistor. Ito yung sinasabi ko pong fundamental component. Okay. Resistor is the fundamental component in electricity and electronics. Ito yung component na passive. Okay. Passive because it limits or restricts the flow of current. Ito yung common type ng resistor. If you will observe, it's like a barrel shape, diba? With corresponding colors. To tell you honestly, class, yung colors po does not represent aesthetic or design lang ng resistor para ma-recognize siya. Actually po, yung color bands represents value. Later on, pag-aaralan natin ang resistor color coding. Diba? So, this time, ipapakita ko muna sa inyo kung ano ba yung itsura ng resistor. Okay. How about the second picture? Anyone would like to guess?
Capacitor, sir.
Okay. Capacitor. Sa tingin nyo, ma'am, itong capacitor na to, is it polarized or non-polarized? Guess lang po.
Polarized po, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, this is a capacitor. Diba? A capacitor naman is it's a passive component also. A capacitor is a passive component that stores electric charge. And a capacitor can be polarized and non-polarized. Kapag polarized po, ito po siya. Kung makikita nyo sa top, meron siyang ibang kulay. Diba? It's covered in black, but ito, iba yung kulay niya. It represents, yung wire na to is negative terminal. Kasi meron siyang bar and meron siyang negative symbol. So therefore, this is a polarized capacitor. Meaning, meron siyang positive and negative. This type of capacitor class is what we call electrolytic capacitor. And marami po tayong iba-ibang klaseng capacitor na ginagamit sa electricity and electronics. Okay, how about this next picture? Can you guess? Anybody from this group?
Inductor po.
Okay.
Inductor.
Thank you. So, this component is para siyang, di ba, a coil wrap around na in a form of a circle. Kumbaga, kung sa tingin sa pagtingin natin, inductor is also a passive component. Okay. A passive component wherein it stores magnetic field. Okay, magnetic field while the current is flowing. Yan po ang inductor. So, sa baba niya po, sa tingin nyo, anong component itong tawag? Ito muna sa baba. Na may...
Diode, sir.
Thank you, Sir Marlon. That is a diode. Okay. I think it's a solid state diode. Diode is an active component. Okay. That allows or permits the flow of direction from a negative to positive. Okay. So, kung makikita niyo, it is covered in black, pero meron siyang part dito sa tip na parang silver or gray. Kapag ganyan po yung symbol niya, that is the negative that is the positive part of a diode. Kasi di ba sabi ko sa inyo, based on my presentation po, meron ding positive and negative ang diode. Meron siyang, ang negative niya po is cathode and positive niya is anode. Kapag meron kayo nakikitang parang negative siya, ay parang gray ang kulay niya, that is the anode part. Okay? Of a diode. Next is a 3-terminal component. The value is tip 32C. Ito yung ginagagamitin ninyo sa project ninyo sa dispenser. What do you call this component? Anybody? Yung sa gitna po below. Yes. Apo. Ito po yung tama kayo, ma'am. This is what we call transistor. Okay. It is a 3-terminal component and classified as an active component. Ito yung transistor, ginagamit siya for switching and amplification of signals. Okay. Next component, yung maraming pins or LEDs or terminals, this is what we call what? Yung pinakasikat din na component sa electronics. Are you familiar with this one? Na marami siyang terminals. Any guess?
Integrated circuits.
Yes. Integrated circuit or what we call ICs. Kasi ang integrated circuit, kasi integrated naka-compact na siya. Kasi ang integrated circuit can be composed of resistors, capacitors, inductors, diode. Kaya tinawag siyang integrated circuit. Kasi pwede siyang maging iba-ibang components. Kasi in one IC, it could probably consist of thousands of capacitors, transistors, diodes, inductors. Ganyan kasimple. Maliit lang siya, pero marami siyang function na ginagamit. Okay. Yan ang pinaka-common na components sa electronics, maliban sa resistor. Na marami siyang function or application na paggagamitan. Okay. So, let us now divide the components, the passive and the active. Okay, this is the integrated circuit or the IC. Ito yung passive components. We have the resistor, capacitor, inductor. Ito, while these are active. In other books or references, diode can be considered as passive. Kasi po ang diode, iba-iba din klase. Meron tayong solid state, Zener diode, we have, ano pa? Marami, iba-iba din ang klase, crystal diode. So, we have different types of diode in electricity and electronics. So, ano bang pinagkaiba ng passive and active components? So, let us discuss the difference. In details, the difference between the active and passive components. Active components deliver power or energy to the circuit. Samantalang ang passive, hindi siya nagpo-provide ng energy or power, bagkus ginagamit or utilizes power or energy from the circuit. When we say active, it delivers power. Passive, uses power from the circuit. When we talk about the nature of source. Okay? Next distinction or difference. Difference of an active and passive based on the function of the component. Ang active po, it produces energy in the form of voltage or current. Samantalang ang passive, hindi po siya nagpo-produce or nag-store ng energy in a form of voltage or current. Kumbaga, ang passive, nagre-rely or ginagamit yung voltage or current. Hindi siya, it has no ability to produce its own power or energy, unlike the active components. That is how we differentiate active and passive based on the function of the component. The next difference is in terms of power gain. Active, madaling sabi, provides power. Passive, it cannot or it's incapable of providing power gain. Okay? Next, the difference of active and passive by means of flow of current. So, kagaya din, ang active can produce, can control power, and can control the flow of current. While in passive, it cannot control the flow of current. Next, the difference between active and passive based on the source or the external source. Active, it requires external source for the operations. Passive, they do not. That's the difference by using of external source. The next is in terms of nature of energy. Active, they are energy donors. They provide energy, they provide power, they control the flow of current. Okay. Ang passive, acceptor. Kaya baga, if you browse, if you've read, if you heard what I stated a while ago, passive components utilizes energy. So therefore, they are energy acceptor. Okay. Since nakwento ko na po yung pagkakaiba ng active and passive, and ang topic naman natin is tungkol naman sa circuits, na-mention ko na rin po yung electric and electronic circuit. Let us trace, para maintindihan nyo lalo kung ano ba ang electronic components, the history of electronics. Kung pag-aaralan po ninyo sa field namin, ang history ng electronics nakabase sa 3 fundamental components. And these are vacuum tubes, transistors, and integrated circuit. Okay. Ano ba tong vacuum tube? By the way, class, have you seen a vacuum tube? Have you seen this? Are you familiar with this one? Anyone from this group? Hello? Last, are you still with me?
Yes po.
Have you seen a vacuum tube? Na-experience nyo na ba siya? Nakakita na po ba kayo? Base sa present kong picture? Last?
Ako sir, no sir.
Okay. How about the rest? So, meaning to say, lahat po ba kayo hindi pa nakakita ng vacuum tube?
Ano po ba yan, sir, sa gaya ng, Christmas light, yung,
See. Ay, hindi po. Iba siya.
ay, iba po.
Sige po. Sige, I'll tell you the story. Ang vacuum tube po siya, tama din, in terms of illustration niya, or in terms of, no, not illustration, in terms of description niya, para siyang, tama yung sinabi mo, ma'am, para din siyang Christmas light. Pero maliit po yun. Kasi po, ang vacuum tube, malaki po yan. Okay? Malaki po ang vacuum tube. Sige. So, ang vacuum tube class, sa British po, ang tawag niyan bulb. Or in British English, it is a bulb. B, Victory A, L, Victory E. So, a vacuum tube is an electronic device used in many older model of radios, television sets, and amplifiers to control electric current flow. Ang vacuum tube po is isa siyang device na matatagpuan nyo sa mga old model na radio, television sets, and amplifiers. Alam ko or ewan ko sa inyo kung meron pa kayong mga early forms of television or devices sa electrical electronics. Yan po, ginagamitan siya ng vacuum tube. Ginagamit siya to control electric current flow. Wherein the cathode is heated, tama siya. Tama din yung sinabi ninyo. Para din siyang light bulb or yung Christmas light. Pero malaki po siya. So, pag once na uminit yung light bulb na, it will emit electrons. Yung pag-emit niya ng electrons, ito yung tinatawag natin fermionic emission. Yung part kasi yung vacuum tube, meron din siyang cathode and anode. Yung cathode, ito yung light bulb na kapag uminit, it will release electrons. Diba? Yung pag-release ng electrons, yan tinatawag natin fermionic emission. Kung may cathode, meron siyang anode. The anode is the part that accepts the emitted electrons. Yung invention ng vacuum tube, galing yan kay Mr. John Ambrose Fleming in 1904. Okay. Pero, if you can still recall, sino nga yung unang nag-invento ng bumbilya? Or di ba? Science 101. Di ba? You can recall, sino pa naka-invento ng first bulb? Or first bumbilya? Can you still recall?
Thomas Edison.
Yes, correct. It was Thomas Edison who invented the first incandescent lamp or bulb. But don't you know, there is a Filipino class. There is a Filipino who invented also a light or a bulb. Plus, sa bahay nyo ba, meron bang fluorescent lamp? Or are you familiar with the fluorescent lamp? Class?
Yes po.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
if you're familiar with fluorescent lamp, how does it look like?
Pahaba, sir.
Okay, pahaba na kulay puti, di ba? Tapos meron, anong part nga doon na kinakabit? Are you familiar? Yung parang cylindrical shape. So, yan ang, yes po?
Yung nasa loob, sir.
Oo, yung kinakabitan niya, may pinapalitan diyan eh. Okay. So, going back don't you know na ang gumawa niyan is a Filipino? Okay. So, since we're talking about trivias here, yung fluorescent lamp is invented by a Filipino named Agapito Flores. Okay. Ito yung interesting story. Mr. Agapito invented the fluorescent lamp and it was introduced sa mga kung sinong gusto mag-invest sa isang office na parang nag-accept ng mga inventions. Kasi before, parang sa atin, hindi ganun kalaga. They don't see the importance of inventions and innovations sa technology. Parang, I don't know if it was open in public or it present sa isang government, sa panata. And what happened there, parang hindi binigyan ng support si Mr. Flores. So, ang nangyayari, since lacks government support or di nausad yung technology niya, ibinenta niya sa ibang bansa. Okay. Kaya, yung technology niya, binakal ka mga European and pinangalan kang ibang brand. Kagaya ng Westinghouse, Philips, ganun. Kaya baga, in honor kay Flores, since siya naka-invento ka ayan, tinawag siyang fluorescent lamp. Okay, that's how fluorescent lamp was invented and bakit hindi siya na-recognize ito sa ating bansa. That's the reality. Yes po.
Yan po, yung pag busted na yung lamp niya, pinapalitan ng cylindrical na maliit.
Yan, nakalimutan ko. Tama ma'am. Basta mahaba siya. Parang lightsaber baga.
Sir, ito po, yung fluorescent yung papalitan or yung cylindrical.
Oo. Yun ang pinapalitan. Okay. Meron ba kayo niyan? Kasi nung
Sir, sa laboratory, hindi gumagana siguro.
yun ang fluorescent. I think meron pa niyan eh. Kasi ngayon, di ba, yung mga bulb natin, if you observe bagay, yung mga bombilya natin, wala na yung parang kulay orange na linalabas. Di ba? That is what we call incandescent. Yun yung mga old model pa na ginawa ni Alva Edison. Now, ang ilaw mo yan, mga LED na, di ba? light emitting diode na ang ginagamit. Ang light emitting diode, it's a type of diode. Ginagamit siya for as indicators. But this time, ginagamit na siyang bombilya eh. Mas malakas yung kuha niya eh, yung binibigay niyang illumination or light. Okay. And ngayon, may tinatawag na tayong smart technology, smart device na can be controlled by Wi-Fi. Kaya kung may narinig kayong boses ng babae, yung aking bahay kasi is Alexa, tawag dito, controlled. I can turn on the light, I can turn on the bulb by means of voice command. So ganun ka kung ng technology, na complex and not complex ganun pinapadali. Okay? Try to imagine mo ang bahay mo is you can turn on your fan, you can turn on your TV, you can control the appliances by means of an AI. Ang tawag ngayon kasi class dyan is actually matagal niya yan eh. So yung Alexa ko dito is 2017 pa, 16. So that is what we call Internet of Things, IoT. Pag sinabi nating IoT, time will come, actually nangyayari na yun eh. Time will come, lahat ng machine mo, lahat ng devices mo, appliances mo, is controlled by your voice or it can be your mobile phones. Okay? Yung ang kagandahan, halimbawa, yung ilaw namin sa bahay, it is controlled. Meaning to say, pag 6 ng gabi or pag 6 na automatic, mag-o-on na yung bulb. And you can control the brightness. Kung gusto mong dim, gusto mong maliwanag. And pagdating naman ng 5 AM, lahat ng ilaw ko mag-o-off siya. And that is what we call automation. Yan ang sinasabi pong Internet of Things. Lahat ng mga appliances nyo, time will come, it could be Alexa operated or it could be Google Home controlled. Para maintindihan, di ba yung mga mobile phones ninyo, meron kayong tinatawag na Siri? Are you familiar with Siri?
Yes, sir.
Di ba Siri yung parang kinakausap nyo sa kayo inuutusan? Kaya din, si Alexa, marami siyang ways on how to control. You can ask for the weather. Alexa, what's the weather like?
The current weather is 31 degrees Celsius with showers and mostly cloudy skies. Today, you can look for thunderstorms with a high of 31 degrees and a low of 24 degrees.
Di ba?
Have a good afternoon.
Narinig nyo, class?
Yes.
Oh, and
Yes, sir.
anything you can ask. Basta wag lang Tagalog kasi wala pa ditong parang AI or sa Philippines na pwedeng paganayin si Alexa by Tagalog commands. But Alexa can speak various languages. Anything you can do. You can ask, Alexa can answer, can provide. Pero may mga limitations din si Alexa. Okay? For the meantime, yan po ang kaya niya eh. Mag-control ng mga appliances, devices, mag-monitor ng security sa bahay, and then yun, you can ask several questions to him. Okay? Sige. So, let's proceed to since alam niyo na yung vacuum tubes, in 1900s, here comes transistors. Yung transistor po is pinaliit na version ng vacuum tube. Kasi ang vacuum tube, malaki yan eh. Ang transistor po is a 3-terminal component na same din yung application. Ginagamit for signal amplification, for switching, and for communication. In the succeeding years po, lumabas na po yung tinatawag natin integrated circuit, okay, or the IC. Okay. Yung IC po, ito yung sinasabi kong compact na. And it composed of, in one component, it composed a variety of a passive or an active components, and it performs a lot of functions. So, ganyan ang development ng electronics. Kung o-obserbahan nindo, pasadit siya. Pasadit and marami siyang functions na ginagamit. So, that's how ang development ng electronics from a vacuum tube to transistors and to integrated circuit. Kasi kung babalikan natin, ang transistor ginagamit yung sa World War as a form of communication. So, That's how technology started. Ginamit muna siya sa mga pang military purposes. Until such time, ngayon, ginagamit niya sa commercial, sa residential, for some household application. Okay? So, next topic. So, sige. Before we proceed with the next topic, let's declare muna health break, let's say mga 10 minutes. You can take your snacks, you can go to the restroom, or take a rest muna before we proceed with the next interesting topic in electronics. So stand by po and you can now take your snacks or break muna. Sige. Thank you. Okay, class. I think we're back. I hope you are done with your snacks. So, and take your go to your restroom, bathroom. Okay. So, let's proceed with our next topic. By the way, before we proceed, am I still audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, let's proceed with the next topic. So, now we already know yeah, we are now familiar with the electronic components, the active from passive, the distinction, and the examples or types. Now, in electronics, we have this so-called digital and analog. So, try to guess, alin dito yung digital, alin dito yung analog? So, these are two clocks, right? Ano? These are two clocks. But, can you guess, alin dito yung digital, alin dito yung analog? Yes, you are recognized.
Try po. The first one is the analog and the second one po, yung may red is the digital.
Okay. So, tingin mo, ma'am, bakit kaya nasabi mo siyang analog? Tapos yung una, tapos yung pangalawa is digital. Ano?
Po?
Sige.
Mas ang ano po kasi tawag doon na mas simple po yung parang nasa loob nung analog kaysa doon sa electric. May ano siya, may mga circuit pa, may mga parang kumbaga may board pa siya, ganun. Ayun po.
Okay. Sige. What's another idea? Tama, nahulaan ni ma'am. This yung bilog na orasan, this is what we call an analog. Well, this one na tawag dito na rectangle type is the digital. So, let's get to know more. Let's understand well kung ano ba ang pinagkaiba ng analog sa digital. Okay, this is the analog. Tama si ma'am. And this is the digital. So, if we're going to compare in terms of the display, diba? Makikita nyo yung iba-ibang numbers and then meron siyang tawag dito parang buntot ba yan or samantalang dito sa digital it actually represents what time, how many hours and minutes na po. So when you say analog and digital when you say analog and digital these are signals, both of them are signals. These are used to transmit information. Since we're talking about signals, we're simply referring to electric signals. Itong technology na to, class, kagaya ng information or signal, kagaya ng audio or video, is transformed into electric signals. Diba? How does a sound, if you can recall the transducers, right? I gave an example wherein anong pinagkaiba ng speaker sa microphone. Speaker, diba? You can still remember sound to electric signals. Okay? Microphone, tama ba? Sound to electric signals. Yeah, no. Kaya even nalilito ako. Pag microphone, sound to electric signals, and electric to sound naman is the speaker. Okay. Sa analog and digital, both of them, in a form of audio or video, is transformed into electric signals. So these are the similarities. But let's get to know more. Ano bang pinagkaiba ng analog sa digital? So, in terms of signal, when we say analog, it's a continuous signal which represents physical measurements. Sa digital kasi, mas complicated eh. Marami siyang time signals generate by digital modulation. May tinatawag tayong frequency shift keying. Maraming terms eh. Kung magpapaka-technical tayo, in terms of signal, mas complicated ang digital compare sa analog signal. So, they are generated in a form of digital modulation. Okay, para maintindihan, ang analog can be represented by a sine wave. Ito yung sinusoidal or what do you call this? S waves. Right? Samantalang ang digital signal presented or denoted by square waves. Okay? Another comparison is in terms of representation. Analog uses continuous range of values to represent information, while digital, discrete or discontinuous value to represent information. Later on, you will understand why is it that discrete or discontinuous ang ni-represent niya ng information. So here, we will touch more on the digital electronics. Sige? In terms of uses, ang analog can be used in analog devices only, suited for audio and video transmission. Samantalang ang digital, ginagamit siya sa computer. Ginagamit siya for computing and digital electronics. Kailangan natin pag-aralan kung paano gumagana ang device by means of digital electronics. Kagaya ng dispenser, kagaya ng washing machine, kagaya ng microwave, kagaya ng air fryer. Okay. Ito yung mga bagong trends sa electronics. These are what we call digital electronics. Meron tayong tinatawag na bandwidth. Okay? Ang bandwidth class, teka lang. When we say bandwidth, this refers to anong nangyari sa aking internet. When we say bandwidth, sa context ng electronics, it is a range of frequencies within a given band, in particular, the use of for transmitting a signal. Kasi ang bandwidth po, may corresponding range. Kumbaga, sa madaling sabi, range siya. Diba? Para maintindihan, alam niyo po ba yung mga number sa mga radio stations? Diba? During our childhood days, college days, high school life, diba, some of us are fan of listening to music, particularly sa mga FM radio. Naalala niyo yung mga yung mga signals or numbers ng stasyon? Anybody would like to recall? Yung sa Bicol ha, kasi si Ma'am Grace is from Manila eh. Iba-iba kasi yung, para maintindihan yung sinasabi kong bandwidth. Anybody? Ano bang pinapakinggan yung radyo? Sir? Ma'am? Anybody?
AM, sir, or P?
FM. Ibang PM ha, ibang PM. Ibang AM sa electronics, ibang AM sa schedule, sa time. Okay. Ang AM, para maintindihan, para malinawan kayo, siguro nagtaka kayo kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng AM sa FM. Diba? Kasi pag sinabi nyo AM, parang ang pinapalabas dyan, ang naririnig nyo, naririnig nyo palagi is yung mga balita, tapos yung mga lumang kanta, paglinggo. Pag sa FM naman, ito yung mga, di ba, yung mga music, different genre. Sa inyo, ano ba yung mga pinapakinggan yung radio stations before? Anybody? Hello guys.
MOR, sir.
MOR, anong kwan niya? Anong bandwidth niya? Anong kwan niya? Station niya? Naalala mo pa? Kung MOR, ano siya? Yes po, go ahead. What is it?
Yung 93.1 po ba yan, sir?
Okay, kulang ka. Mali, iba yan. Pag set mo siya sa 93.1, magkakaigo kang disturbances. Hindi siya eksaktong 93 point ano?
9?
Yeah, that's 93.9. Yan ang mga bandwidth kasi lahat ng frequency may corresponding bandwidth. May limit yan na dapat ang range niya ay maglagpas 10. Okay, kung ang MOR 93.9, anong sumunod na stasyon? Anong range niya? Are you familiar with the stations kang radyo? Okay. 93.9, 95.5. Ano po yan dati? Talagang millennial ng mga naabutan ko kunyan ha. Ang estudyante ko yan eh. 96.3. That's another bandwidth or range. Ano po yan? 97.1. Ano po yan? Hello? Wala.
Okay, FM.
Yes. Okay, FM. So, yan ang mga range or bandwidth. Okay. Ang AM po, class, sa electricity and electronics, ang ibig sabihin niya, it's amplitude modulation. Okay? Ang FM naman po is frequency modulation. So, naintindihan nyo na, ano? Ang AM is amplitude modulation. Ang FM naman is frequency modulation. Okay? So, yan ang pinagkaiba ng AM sa FM. I also wonder, ano ba yung AM pag umaga, di ba? So, sa time and date, ano bang ibig sabihin niya? Base sa na-research ko, ang AM pala is, ang ibig sabihin niya is ante-meridiem. Okay? Ang ante-meridiem, it means before noon. Okay? Now we know ha, Kuya Kim na ako ngunyan. Samantalang ang PM naman, it's a Latin term for post-meridiem. Meaning to say, afternoon. Okay? Dagdag kaalaman naman po ano. Ang AM is ante-meridiem or before noon. That's why it's AM. And PM naman is post-meridiem or afternoon. Okay? So, going back sa bandwidth, analog signal processing can be done in real time and consume less bandwidth or range or frequency. Samantalang sa digital, there's no assurance or guarantee that yung signal is ma-process digitally in real time and magasto siya in terms of consuming of bandwidth just to carry out the same information. Okay? So, in terms of memory naman, since we're done with the bandwidth, ang analog, di ba, is stored in the form of wave signal. Kaya sinasabi siyang digital kasi it stores or represents in discrete signal. Kasi ang signal can be interpreted sa digital by means of binary bit. Yeah, para maintindihan, pag sinabing binary, ano bang pumapasok sa isip niyo? Have you heard of this sa mathematics, sa ibang subject? The term binary? Hello? People, are you still there? Class, have you heard of binary? Is this your first time? Do you have an idea about
Yung
this?
dalawa, sir.
Okay. Tama. Pag sinabi nating binary, it represents 2. Diba? Here, later on, pag-aralan natin kung bakit ang digital electronics is stored in the form of binary bit. Okay. And sa computer, naalala nyo, diba, yung bytes and bits. Diba? 1 byte is equivalent to 8 bits since we're talking about ICT. So, this pertains to the storage or memory ng inyong hardware or computer. Di ba kahit ICT or computer napag-aaralan din sa electronics. Okay? So, meaning to say, when we say digital electronics, it does not handle continuous voltage and current signals. Instead, it uses electric signals that have two only possible conditions or state. Kasi sa digital electronics, it's binary. Ang pag-interpret niya, it means two states or two conditions. If you are an electronic engineer, technologists, and students, it's fundamental to start to understand digital electronics. The study of number systems is essential to understand the representation of the data before processing them, including digital computers. So, ito mga sinasabi ko it will be presented here in the succeeding slides. Diba? Tinanong nyo kanina, bakit ang digital electronics performs by means of binary operation? Kasi sa digital electronics, it is the study of number system. Before, diba kanina, based on the definition, before processing them in any digital technique, including digital computers, digital electronics or system functions in two, employing devices that exist only in two states. Halimbawa, since na-mention natin, transistor is an active component and can be classified as digital electronics, can only have, because transistor can normally have two states in a digital system. It's either on or off. Ito yung sinasabi kong binary. Pag sinabing binary, two states. Para maintindihan, let's go to the next slide. Ito yung example ng binary state terms. Pwedeng true or false, high or low, 1, 0, on, off, close or open. What does it mean? These are what we call logic statements. Logic statements can be classified or conditioned in two states. It's either true or false. A voltage may be high or low. A switch may be closed or open. A transistor may be on or off. So sa digital electronics, ang binary operation natin, two state. Diba? Sa logic, true or false, voltage, high or low, the switch, close or open, transistor, on or off. Let's get to know more about this. These are binary state terms. Laging tatandaan, pag sinabi natin digital, binary operations, two state lang siya or two conditions. And don't you know, ang computer natin, ang interpretation lang niya dalawa, 1 and 0. Okay. Ganyan, kumbaga, halimbawa, pag sinabi nating letter A, alam natin yung shape. Alam natin kung anong itsura niya, paano siya isusulat, paano siya i-encode. But sa computer po, iba ang interpretation ng letter A. That's how a computer thinks. It's in a binary state or two conditions. Let's get to know more about this. Okay. And para maintindihan, I have another set of exercise. Hope maintindihan ninyo kung anong ibig kong sabihin. Sa atin, these are what we represent this decimal number. So, here in this next slide, this talks about the decimal to binary conversion table. Pag sinabi nating digital electronics, uulitin ko. Binary state, two conditions or two state. Diba? Sa digital electronics, based on the binary state of terms, meron tayong dalawang klase. Sa logic, true or false, 1 and 0. Sa voltage, high or low. Sa transistor, on and off. Sa switch, close or open. Sa binary conversion table naman, sa computer, it's a matter of 1 and 0. Okay. Tingnan natin yung logic nyo dito. Dito matetest yung logic nito. Try to compare the two columns. Yung decimal natin, alam natin ito yung 0. Diba? Sa binary number, ganun pa rin. 0 pa rin siya. Okay. Pagdating naman sa 1, sa decimal number, definitely, yan yung symbol na. Sa binary number, ganun pa rin. 1 pa rin siya. Okay. Pagdating sa 2 hanggang 20, doon po magkakaroon ng pagbabago. Kasi po, ang system po, when we're talking about digital electronics, dalawa lang po yung conditions niya or state. Diba? Kung babalikan natin, since we're talking about binary, 1 and 0. 0 and 1. Ganun lang. Look at the next decimal number, 2. Dito, pagdating sa number 2, ang binary number niya is 1 and 0. Kasi dalawang state lang po siya. Doon umiikot yung binary natin. Yung two state lang natin, it's a matter of yes or no, high or low, 1 and 0. Eh hindi man po pwedeng 1, 0, 2. Hindi po pwede ganun ang interpretation. It's 1 and 0 lang po. So, pagdating sa 2, 1, 0. Am I still audible? Can you follow? Nagigets po ba ang ibig kong sabihin?
Yes po.
Okay. Tingnan natin ulit yung number. Thank you, ma'am. Sige. Balik tayo. 0, binary number, 0. Decimal number, 1. Binary number, 1. But proceed sa 2. Sa 2, 1, 0. Pagdating ng 3, 1, 1. Diba? Pagpataas yung number, nadadagdagan yung binary number. Pero ang state niya, ang condition niya, 1 and 0 lang. Okay? So, for number 3, that's 1, 1. Pagdating sa number 4, naging 3 na. So, that's 1, 0, 0. Apo? Okay. Pagdating na number 4, ulitin natin, 1, 0, 0. Pagdating na number 5, 1, 0, 1. For number 6, that's 1, 1, 0. 7, 1, 1, 1. Okay. So, if you will observe, meron siyang pattern. And, para hindi kayo malito, tandaan nyo lang yung state. Dalawa lang, 1 and 0. Pero sa totoo lang, even myself, nalilito din ako pagdating sa conversion ng decimal to binary. So, pagdating sa 8, from 7 na 111, magiging 1,000 siya or 1000. 9, 1001. 10, it's 1010. Now, class, on a piece of paper, try nyo i-guess. Pero reminder, take note. Pwede po dahil kita magamit ki internet, dahil kita mag-search sa Google. Can you interpret that manually on your own? How that it converted from decimal to binary, starting from 11 to 20? Can you do that, class? Hello?
Yes po, sir.
Sige. So, I'll give you at least probably 10 minutes siguro. Or let's say 5 minutes. So, can you do that? Sige, I'll give you 5 minutes lang. So, can you now answer this problem? So, you have to determine the binary number starting from 11 to 20. Plus, para fair, huwag kayong gagamit ng internet or Google. Mas maganda kayo mismo mag-figure out. Kayo mismo manghuhula. Kayo mismo mag-analyze. Sige. You can now start working on this conversion. Okay? Sige.
Tapos, Ma'am Gina, although nakafocus doon yung this will be a different concentration po doon sa dating training na more on food processing. So dito ngayon, nakakonsentrate na siya sa food, sa baking. And the last May 20, for info po nung brother, nagkagawa po meeting with PDLs and yung mga bakers and yung sa arts and craft. And ini po na-request ang nagluwas nag-indicate lang po dito ni Ma'am is for the NCP. But meron pa po sila na products na gusto i-improve. Lalo na po sa ipapakita ko po yung list. So, for the arts and craft, may existing product na po sila. So, ito po yung mga products, yung existing product sa arts and craft, yung PVC lampshade. Sir Kenji, thank you po for sa pag-join. Nandito na po si Sir Kenji from the Electronics Department program. Yan po. So, for the arts and craft, yung existing products nila is yung PVC lampshades. Meron din silang upcycled tarp bags and ipon. So, ayun po na extension project doon sa BJMP. And nagpo-produce din po sila from the previous arts and craft na project. So, nagpo-produce sila ngayon ng semi-finished component shells. And this is for the semi-finished product for the accessories. And ang kailangan nila na i-enhance yung PVC lamp. It was suggested na mas maganda na rechargeable. Halimbawa na brown out or gagamitin yung mga battery operated yung mga power bank. So, pwede mo mapailaw yung PVC lamp.
Okay, class? Are you done? Hello? Can you still hear me? Class?
Yes po.
Okay. So, can we... Okay. Can I call names? Tapos, send me your... tell me your answer. Sunod-sunod tayo. Would that be okay? Well, okay lang kung mali or tama. Basta makita lang natin yung sequence. Kasi sa totoo lang, nakakalito din siya di ba? It's a matter of 1 and 0, pero pag as you go along with the numbers from highest to lowest, nagbabago siya. So, sige, tingnan natin sino yung present dito. I saw Ma'am Mika. Ma'am, can you guess can you give us your answer for number 11?
Number 11, sir. 1011.
Sige, 1011. Check natin, para tayo nasa game show 1011, correct. Tama, ma'am. Okay. How about for number 12? May I ask Ma'am Billy? Ma'am Billy Jean, are you around? Miss Bolante? For number 12, what is your answer?
1100.
It's that. Okay, let's check. 1100. Correct. Sige. Sir Jonel, 13.
13 po. 1101.
1101. Sige. Nagigess na yung pattern. Ma'am Glaze, number 14. Ma'am Glaze, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Sige.
Number 14. 1110.
1110. Okay. Sige. Sir Abila, are you there?
Yes, sir.
For number 15, what's your answer?
1111, sir. Apat na 1.
Okay, 4 na 1. Okay, check. 16. Sino pa? Thank you, sir. Sino pa andito? Mary Jane. Anong sagot?
10000. Apat na 0.
Sige, tama. 4 na 0, isang 1. Good. So ngayong class, kung 1000, so therefore, ito magiging 1001 or 100010. Ano bang sagot? Is it 100?
1001, sir.
Okay. Sige, let's check. So, nag-guess na yung pattern, di ba? So, ganyan ang decimal to binary conversion table. So, 10010 pagdating sa 18 and 10011.
11.
Okay. And last is 10100. So, that's how you convert from decimal to binary conversion table. Okay. Last. So, kanina, decimal numbers. This time, alphabet. Okay. Sa computer kasi, meron tayong tinatawag na American Standard Computer, I forgot, Computer Interchange ata. Balikan natin ha. Sa computer, may tinatawag tayong ASCII code. Okay. When you say ASCII code, it's American, diba? American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It's the most common character encoding format for text data in computers and on the internet. So, itong ASCII code, or simply say, yung alphabet na A to C is may corresponding binary table or binary numbers. Diba? Take a look. Yung letter A natin, kasi sabi ko sa inyo, pag A, alam natin yung shape, alam natin yung itsura niya, and then, description niya, and paano siya isusulat or ita-type. At sa computer, iba yung interpretation niya. Halimbawa, A is 010001. Ilang zero yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ata yan? 4, 5, tapos 1. So, ngayon, tell the answer. I'll be giving you another minutes, let's say 5 minutes to get the value of ASCII from letter O to Z by the binary, using the binary. So, sige na po. Try to guess. Basta, look at the pattern. Pag-aralan nyo. Paano nakuha para mag-guess nyo yung pasunod-sunod niya. Sige, I'll give you another 5 minutes ha. Good luck. Sige, answer this problem.
Leader for NC2, and then for the rest, like
naman. And then ma'am, with regards naman po dito sa LCD, nakita ko naman po kanina sa request, no, na it's LC2 inbred and phase reproduction talaga ang request.
Ma'am, ano po yun?
Sir, okay lang po. Nawala lang po saglit kanina.
Okay.
Sa akin po yun.
For example, di ba syempre ang ibang mga non-technical people, no, pag hindi nila makikita, hindi sila maniniwala. So halimbawa, for example, ang gusto ko present ni Ma'am Kay is like food chemistry nun. Like halimbawa, pag na-overmix nila yung cake, anong mangyayari? Gusto ni Ma'am Kay ipakita sa kanila mismo. So parang ma'am, sa amin, ang i-contribute namin on this aspect or on this extension activity will be the food quality assurance, food safety aspect. So, if that is okay, ma'am, yun yung mai-provide namin.
Okay. So,
Pero okay din, alam natin, ma'am, na marunong din si Ma'am Kim sa cake, diba? So, sabi niya, eto ma'am, hindi kasi siya makakonnect kasi wala siyang data. Sabi niya, pwede daw siya sa cake decorating. Yung technique daw. Tapos, sa piping pwede din. Pero, yun ma'am, magpo-focus kami ma'am more on the para ma-maintain nila yung quality ng product. So, oo. So, yun ma'am, kung sa akin ma'am, I'd rather focus muna on their original request na sa bread and pastry. Then, magbibigay kami lang sa technical aspect.
okay. May I hear po ma'am from Ma'am Prades yung about dito po sa training po na request. Yes po Ma'am Prades.
Ano ba? Siguro assessor na lang ako.
Ma'am, paano po ma'am yung discussion sa
Siguro turuan ko na lang, ano ko na lang, kung ano ang mga ipapasis. I-share ko na lang sa inyo siguro kung ano sa mga ipapasis, sa mga output na ipapasis na. Yun na lang.
Ma'am, what about ma'am doon sa yung sa discussion po ma'am ng basic
done? Class?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Sige. Okay. Sis, narinig ko si Sir Escucha. Sir O, ang sagot mo? Sir Janelle?
Yes po. 0, 1, 0, 0. Tapos 4 na 1 po.
Correct. So, next. Ma'am Bolante? Ma'am Jean?
Po,
First? Sige.
try ko lang, sir. 0, 1,
Mhm.
0, 0. Tatlong 1, 0.
Okay. Correct. Galing.
Yes, tama.
Ay, mali. 4 na 0.
4 na 0. Sorry.
Okay, di mo nakakalito. Ako nga, nalilito din minsan eh. Sige. How about, PQ? Sige, how about Sir Abila for Q? Ba't ganun? Aking 4 ng 0. Sige, sir. Baka 1.
0,
Sige.
0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1.
Sa last ka yung 1. Okay, sige. Let's
Okay.
check. Correct. Tama. Sige. I think may pattern yun. Biglang nag-transition siya from I think may numbering ata yan, di ba? Parang may pattern siya bago siya lahat magbago. Okay, thank you, sir. You got it right. Ma'am Glaze?
Okay. R po is 01, 01, 00, 10.
Na-advance ko, napindot ko. Thank you, ma'am. Tama, ma'am. 0101 0010. Sige. Ma'am Jane? Hello?
Masagot pa, sir.
Sige. Sige. Class, actually, simultaneous yung ginagawa ko ngayon kasi I'm attending a class and then may meeting kami ngayon for extension. So, kindly answer na lang po, isend sa akin yung sagot nyo dito. And we have an early dismissal. Class, is it okay with you? Kasi I have an important meeting regarding sa extension namin sa Tabaco. So, class, do you have
sir po.
questions or clarifications?
So,
Hello?
yung isasend po namin, pwedeng pen na lang po and paper or word pa po.
Ayo, okay lang. Pen and paper, by all means po. Basta makasubmit kayo ng activity natin this afternoon. Sige.
Saan po, sir?
Ito po, sir.
is-
Kahit i-PM nyo lang sa akin kasi activity naman siya eh. Kapag hindi naman related sa Google Classroom, kahit i-PM send na lang sa akin. Sige po.
Yung A to Z po,
Sige.
sir.
Yung kwa na lang po, S to say. Yeah, S to say na lang. Class, can I ask for a photo ops?
Sige po.
Okay. Can I ask for a photo ops? Sige. Can you turn on your camera? Sige. Set natin sa child. Okay. Stop sharing. Okay. So, eyes on the camera. Sige. Print, okay. Dali lang kunin ko yung aking snipping tool. So, eyes on the camera. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Sir Jonel, bala ka na ng ibang copy. Okay. Thank you, class. Thank you for your time. And then, I'll send a video about your project na gagawin para at least may guide ka kung paano buuin yon. Saka, hindi tayo mag-meet sa Monday because of the graduation. Sige. Bye, class.
Bye, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye po, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So class, we will not meet on Monday because of the scheduled graduation or the commencement exercises of our college. I'll provide you a video about how you're going to build the project step by step so that you are guided for those who are not familiar with how you're going to install or assemble the circuitry. So thank you for your time. Thanks for listening. As what I always say, keep safe always.
Click on Zombie Apocalypse.